Did you know there's a place where 9 hikers cut their own tent open from the inside and ran out barefoot into the snow in the middle of the night? A place where some of the bodies were found missing their eyes and tongues.
Here is the body.
A place where their clothing tested for radiation levels you'd expect from a nuclear accident. And here's the scariest part. 65 years later, no government, no scientist, no detective has ever been able to explain what actually happened that night. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass, and trust me, by the end of this video, it's going to send chills down your spine. So let's hit subscribe and get into it. Picture this, it's nighttime. The temperature is below -30 degrees. Snow-covered mountains stretch out in every direction, and it's so silent you can hear your own breathing. Then, suddenly, screams erupt from inside a tent. People start slashing their way out of their own tent with knives. Some without shoes, some barely dressed. What was out there that made them choose to run into a death trap rather than stay inside? This, friends, is the mystery of Dyatlov Pass. Let's hop in a time machine and go back to 1959. A team of 9 experienced hikers set out on a difficult trekking expedition through Russia's Ural Mountains. These mountains are actually the natural boundary between Europe and Asia. Dense pine forests, jagged snow-covered peaks, and miles of empty wilderness where almost no one lives. Winters here bring storms so sudden that a clear sky can turn into a blizzard within minutes. Their leader was Igor Dyatlov, a promising engineering student. These weren't casual travelers. They were seasoned mountaineers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute who had already completed several dangerous treks. Their goal was to reach a peak called Otorten. Along the way, they pitched their tent on the slope of a mountain that local Mansi people had called for centuries Kholat Syakhl, which translates to Dead Mountain. Now just think about it. These 9 people had no idea that name was about to become their fate. On that February night, while the team slept in their tent, something happened that sent them into sheer panic. So much panic that instead of unzipping the tent, they sliced through it with knives to get out faster. Picture it. Outside, it was colder than -30 degrees. And these people were running through the snow without boots, without jackets, some in nothing but their underclothes. What could possibly have felt more dangerous than freezing to death? When rescue teams found their bodies 3 weeks later, what they discovered shook the entire world. The first bodies were found near the trees, frozen, without full clothing. It looked like they'd been running from something and collapsed from exhaustion. But the real shock came with the rest of the bodies. Some had skulls fractured from the inside, with no external damage to the skin at all. One hiker's chest injuries looked like she'd been hit by a vehicle. Except there were no tire tracks anywhere nearby. And most disturbing of all, one woman's eyes and tongue were missing. Did you know what investigators found on their clothing left even scientists baffled? Some of the clothing showed radiation levels so high that Soviet investigators at the time couldn't explain how that much radiation ended up on a snowy mountainside. Here's a question for you. If you'd been in that tent that night, and something outside caused a panic so extreme it terrified even experienced mountaineers, what would you have done? Stayed inside or run? Let me know in the comments. During the investigation, the Soviet government officially concluded that the hikers died due to an unknown compelling force. In other words, even the investigators admitted they couldn't explain the real cause. After that, the case files were sealed for decades, and the area was declared off-limits to the public. Over the years, countless theories have tried to crack this mystery. Some believe it was a secret military weapons test, and these 9 hikers accidentally became casualties. Some scientists proposed a rare natural phenomenon called infrasound, where a specific combination of wind and snow formations creates a sound wave that humans can't consciously hear, but which triggers overwhelming panic in the brain. And even today, some people believe it was something paranormal entirely. In 2019, the Russian government officially reopened the case.
The wind was brutal.
The new investigation pointed to a theory called a slab avalanche, a sudden shift of packed snow that forced the hikers to abandon their tent. But friends, even this theory leaves plenty of questions unanswered. If it was just an avalanche, where did the radiation on the bodies come from? How did eyes and a tongue go missing? And most importantly, if there was an avalanche, why were there no avalanche traces found near the tent? Here's another question for you. Out of all these theories, which one feels most convincing to you? A military test, a natural phenomenon, or something we still don't understand? Let me know in the comments because your answers might just decide the topic of the next video. Even today, researchers and adventure seekers from around the world travel to Kholat Syakhl, the exact site of the incident. Local Mansi people still avoid going near that mountain because in their ancient stories, this place has always been considered cursed. So there you have it, the story of Dyatlov Pass, a mystery that even the Soviet government couldn't crack, an event that still hangs somewhere between science and the supernatural. 9 lives, 1 freezing night, and a question that remains unanswered to this day. What really happened out there? If you enjoyed this mystery, share this video with friends who love unsolved puzzles. And before you go, there's another place out there with a mystery even more mind-bending than Dyatlov Pass. A place where governments have been hiding the truth for decades. So, which mystery do you want us to cover next? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.